One more note before we jump into questions, and this is just an update on U.S. efforts to respond and to help provide assistance to the people of Turkey and Syria in the wake of those devastating earthquakes. We are ramping up our assistance to these earthquakes that have now killed more than 20,000 people in Turkey and Syria, including, that we know of, at least 8 American citizens. Now, this is a terrible tragedy, obviously, and our hearts continue to go out to all those impacted. We remain in close contact with our Turkish allies at every level of government, including, of course, a phone call between President Biden and President Erdogan. Yesterday, we announced that the United States will provide $85 million in life-saving assistance to provide shelter to the displaced, as well as food, medicine, and other desperately needed aid. In Turkey, a USAID disaster assistance and response team is already on the ground, and 2 of our most highly trained urban search and rescue teams are conducting operations in support of Turkish rescue efforts in Adıyaman, one of the hardest hit areas inside the country. These teams have nearly 200 personnel combined between them, specialized equipment and canine support dogs as well. They have been able to expand their operational reach with the support of U.S. military Black Hawk helicopters. And because of the extensive damage to roads and to bridges, ground transportation, I think you can understand, is pretty challenging. They'll continue to run airlift operations from Incirlik, transporting rescue personnel to sites that they are most needed to conduct operations. The DART teams, as we call them, are also conducting structural damage assessments of many buildings and infrastructure. To date, they have been able to cover more than 630 sites across Adıyaman. In Syria, our humanitarian partners continue to urgently scale up response efforts to reach people in need. That work will include, or has included, chartered flights that are transporting essential medical supplies and teams distributing hot meals and other food. As of this morning, the United Nations and its partners successfully completed its second cross-border humanitarian convoy into northwest Syria, and one of our humanitarian partners delivered 14 additional truckloads of supplies through the Bab al-Hawa crossing, totaling now 20 trucks of critical medicines, food, and water to people in need over the last 2 days. To underscore that U.S. sanctions will not prevent or prohibiting humanitarian assistance in Syria, yesterday the Department of Treasury, I think you saw, issued a broad general license to provide additional authorizations for disaster relief assistance to the Syrian people. We already were able to deliver humanitarian assistance without this general license, but we wanted to underscore the importance of humanitarian aid getting in, and so the Treasury went ahead and issued this license as well. This license will be in effect for 6 months. U.S. humanitarian assistance is delivered directly to the Syrian people, no matter where they live. We are determined to do all that we can to help those affected by these earthquakes in the days, weeks, and months ahead, as required.